This is the Walk-Thru, powered by Triple F Elite Sports Training. Train like a pro. Your all-access pass to the biggest games, hottest stories, and everything high school football in East Tennessee. From the Friday night lights to the chase for championships, we bring you the stars, the headlines, and every heart-pounding moment. So strap on that chin strap and get ready. Jesse, Paige, and the 5-star preps team are here with the most complete high school football coverage in the state. This is the Walk-Thru.
It's the biggest checkpoint in the season, week 6. It's really where you find out who your contenders and who your pretenders are. But our favorite part are those teams that still end up surprising you. And we're looking at HBA. We get to them later in the show. And before we get to that point, it's the Walk-Thru presented by Triple F. We have some really special shout outs here this week. And I think one person that we could really look to is the running back from Oliver Springs. I think he absolutely deserves a 5-star preps shout out.
Yeah, Jackson Jett had an unbelievable game for Oliver Springs this past Friday night. I think he had around 170 yards rushing, around 174 yards receiving, 5 total touchdowns. Been catching a lot of grief on social media over the weekend because there just aren't enough spots on our Player of the Week poll, and he deserved to be on there. JV Stinson from Grace deserved to be on there. And the reason I didn't put 2 players from Grace Christian on there is because they're going to cancel each other out, right? You can only vote once per hour, and so it's just like you're stuck in this predicament. Who you going to vote?
To Jemai Meshack and Kai Ziegler.
Yeah, so it's just like we ended up going with Jace Ballard. He had 6 touchdowns in that game, but Jackson Jett definitely deserved a spot up there. Maybe we get him a different week, but I just want to give him some love on our show. And Jackson, it was nothing personal. You absolutely dominated this past Friday night.
About you guys later,
so we're definitely going to be giving Oliver Springs a ton of love on the show going forward. But just a quick shout out to Jackson Jett.
A couple other people too. I know we'll talk about Grace Christian a little bit more as well, but we could go to Cumberland as well. We could look at McCallie. Like, there are so many area teams that accomplished a lot.
So McCallie goes out and faces the number 6 team in the country and pulls off a win. And of course, Max Preps and all the national sites like, oh, this is a massive upset. McCallie's one of the best teams in Tennessee, especially over the last 5 to 10 years, and what they're able to pull in talent-wise. So for us, I mean, we know how good they are, but it was cool to see a team from Tennessee on that national stage go out there to California, Tennessee all the way out to California, I believe, and knock off the number 6 team in the country. So shout out to McCallie. They're from Chattanooga. We don't talk about them that much on this show unless they're playing Catholic or whatnot, but I wanted to give them a special shout out. But Cumberland Gap is 3-2. And they were 0-10 last week. So huge salute, tip of the cap to Cumberland Gap. I have been up there one time. It's pretty far away. It's up there close to Lincoln Memorial University, and it's a scenic drive, a beautiful place, but it's just, for me, I have to kind of stay close to home and home base on Friday night. So hopefully someday we get a chance to kind of send the team up there and highlight a very special community.
And I really felt like this weekend was a lot about milestones for coaches, right? Like Josh Heupel hit his 40-win milestone, and Derek Hunt of Maryville also hit his own milestone.
Right, 100 wins, career wins for Derek Hunt as the head football coach at Maryville. And for me, it doesn't seem like he's been there that long, but he totally has. And he's one of the best to do it, one of the best guys in the business. So shout out to Derek Hunt.
Yeah, absolutely. And we mentioned Grace, so we're going to have to go back to week 5 real quick because it was actually insane what was happening last week. I don't know. You were up till like 3 in the morning each night just trying to keep up with everything. And one, you can maybe start with the NBA and Catholic game.
Yeah, NBA and Catholic was a head scratcher because, as we talked about on this show, they had 2 weeks to prepare for that game. And in week 3, Catholic played its cleanest game of the season. Very few turnovers. I think 1 turnover, 3 penalties. And so they probably didn't want that bye week. I mean, they had finally kind of reached that point in terms of their product on the field where, again, it was clean, it was streamlined. Take a week off, they come back, and there's turnovers in the red zone. There's 11 penalties. And so that's not the performance I expected out of Catholic. And I think they'll get it back. I think they'll get back into form. But that was a little bit of a head scratcher. They let one get away from them there. That was a game they should have won.
Another game that kind of was a long game, interesting game at South Doyle Gibbs goes into overtime. Somehow South Doyle's able to hold on.
Yeah.
And they get a really solid win over Gibbs. 27-24 is your final.
How often do you see teams that go into overtime, and there's one team that's completely just had a gaffe at the end of regulation, and they kind of lose it mentally, and they don't perform well in the overtime period? Well, South Doyle had a chance to win it in regulation, had a field goal block, and you're thinking, oh, okay, Gibbs has got this in the bag. Absolutely not. South Doyle wins it in overtime, and a week before they lost the game in overtime. This could, and I'm not saying it is, but L.A. Hedrick has been there, and he had some obstacles to overcome as coach in terms of just changing the culture, getting them to buy in. He's such a high-energy guy and passionate guy, and he's been pleading. You watch him coach on the sidelines, how much passion he's putting into getting these kids to believe that win last week might be a building block for his program. We'll see. I mean, there's still a lot of big games to go, but if it happens, I think you're going to look back on that week in terms of the buy-in week and say, that might have been the turning point.
Yeah, no, I love that. The other game that we could look at too is Clinton at Central. You want to talk about like an offense just humming? 51 points by Central.
If I could pick a fantasy football quarterback for high school, it would be Caden Long from Central. I mean, over 100 yards rushing. I think he had 125 yards rushing. He threw for around 247 total touchdowns.
That's insane.
Like if I'm drafting a QB1 in my fantasy football league for high school, I mean, I'm taking that guy because he's doing it both in the air and on the ground. So he's had an unbelievable start to his junior year. And it's funny because last year I would look back when the season was over and I'd think there's so many great 2027 QBs coming back for this fall. And maybe Caden wasn't at the top of that list, but he's kept working and he has evolved to put himself into that conversation now where some of the other quarterbacks that I talked about at that time have kind of slipped down a little bit. So it's kind of cool to see his ascent. They have a really big game this week and he could further put himself on the map. Yeah,
in just the next few minutes we'll hear from a couple of players from Grace Christian. But before we get to them, we have to talk about the game. Oh my gosh, 70 points.
I said on the show last week that I wasn't sure where Grace's offense would come from.
You found it.
Yeah. And believe me, after the game I heard about that comment. But the reason I said that was, again, no Terrion Thomas at running back. No starting quarterback. Is Webb just going to stack the line? But what Grace does and what they did in that game is they spread you out, 3-4 wide receiver, and then they get J.V. Stinson or Jace Ballard out in space, and they were able to get those guys in space. It seemed like every time J.V. Stinson got through the line of scrimmage or around the edge of the line of scrimmage, there was just ample space for him to roam. He's only a 5'5", 5'6" guy.
You love stats. So do you remember his rushing total?
391.
Yeah, of course you remember.
391.
That's insane. That's like a total offense number.
And in the first half, he had 298, and everybody was like, "What's the state record?" Right? And so we immediately halftime start getting on our phone. State record's 572 yards in a single game, which is insane. That was 2016. But in the second half, it was more. And JV still did some things in the second half, but it was Jace Ballard kind of all throughout the second half, and he went nuts. Had 201 yards rushing, had 94 yards receiving, 6 total touchdowns. I mean, it was rushing, just 70 points. And Webb, I thought, did well to stay.
They still put up 40 points.
They did well to stay. I mean, it was a one-possession game, kind of mid-third quarter. I mean, they just couldn't find the defensive stops. And so Grace is 4-0. They're state ranked, and big game coming up this week, but man, I had to eat it. So some lady was like, "Are you going to retract your statement?" And I was like, "I can't retract it. I just have to eat it." And so that's what I'm doing now. So
where
I bow down to you.
Where he was wrong.
Yeah, so I can't wear my chain. I'm just not the MVP after that pick.
Well, these were a couple of the Grace Christian players following that game too. So just a flashback to last week, and we'll see you guys on the other side of the interview.
It's an unbelievable offensive game for JV and for Jace Ballard. Kind of discuss what those two guys bring dynamic-wise to this offense.
Honestly, Jace, before I talk about them, I want to talk about those 5 guys up front.
Sure.
You know, they were all returning this year, and we knew that we had something special up front. And, you know, losing the quarterback, Trayson, losing Terry on, but we always knew, even within our walls, that our offensive line was somebody we could lean on. And what they did tonight was just incredible, but they've been doing it all season. And then when you got a guy like JV, just a freshman, he runs so motivated. You know, he's a special player, and he's gotten where his vision's even improved. And I don't know how many yards he finished with. I heard around 400, but just a phenomenal performance by him. And Jace is so electric. You know, he can catch, he can run, and he can get on that edge. And it's just those two guys played exceptionally well, and our receivers blocked on the perimeter great all night.
What's it say about the mentality, the collective mentality of this team to lose a starting quarterback, losing a running back, starting running back, and still be undefeated at this point in the season?
Well, it's huge. One, and I think it comes from our coaching staff. I mean, we got a phenomenal staff. Nick Craney, Josh Kerr, Cedric Houston, Matt, and so many other guys. And we kind of don't flinch, and we were kind of built for this. And we've got great players. We know that. We want to get them in space and let them put on a show. But at the core of who we are is we want to build a program that's sustainable.
Chase, first off, congratulations on this win. I mean, 70 points, that's unreal. And Grace shows a lot of versatility. Y'all didn't have to throw the ball all that much. It's a lot of running offense tonight.
Yes, sir.
Do they think that shocks the people?
It shocked people probably that didn't know us, but our line is amazing. And they played great all night. They opened the holes, and me and JV, we just hit them holes as hard as we could.
I think y'all had over 700 yards of offense. What's it say about this team that you can lose a starting running back, you can lose a starting quarterback, and here you are putting up numbers and wins?
We just have so much depth in the next man up mentality, and people, they lock in, even if they're the second team, third team, they're just getting those mental reps.
You've played a lot of high school football, and you look at J.V. Stinson, a freshman, didn't play like a freshman tonight. Why is he special?
I think it's the way he prepares, the way he practices. He practices hard every week, and he's hard to bring down.
JV, it's 391 yards rushing, an unbelievable night tonight. I mean, coming into this game and what you were able to see on film, did you feel like you were going to have some opportunities to get loose tonight?
Yes, sir. I saw my big brother, Terron Thomas, do it last year, and I feel like I could do it too.
I think your very first carry from scrimmage was like 60-something yards. How much did that kind of get your confidence to go, oh, yeah?
I knew it was going to be a big game. I went to my running back coach after the game, and he was like, after he played, he was like, this is going to be a big game. Get ready for it.
There late in the game, I think you were sitting there with 391. Did you know you were close to 400, or did you want to kind of get one more crack at it?
Yeah, I told Coach to get Ryan George one more time, but we got to stay healthy. So,
Coach says you run motivated. Why is that?
Man, I always have a motto. I don't go down on first contact. I never do. So that's my motivation.
The Film Room is presented by Smart Bank. Play smart, bank smart. Smart Bank. For more information, visit smartbank.com.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.
Film Room is presented by Smart Bank. Play smart, bank smart. Smart Bank. For more information, visit smartbank.com.
Couple of Sevier County highlights there. They have another big game coming up this weekend against Greenville, and it maybe is Parker Newman again making some really clutch plays in this matchup.
Absolutely, and Parker Newman's up for Player of the Week this week. Had 2 interceptions, 1 return for a touchdown, and I texted him after his game Friday night because when that footage you guys just watched came into my desk and I'm watching it on my phone or my laptop, he comes out of nowhere to make this interception. Remember, he's 6'5", so he's kind of crouched down behind the defensive line at some point, and he just springs up and catches it and returns it for a touchdown. But he has been phenomenal this year, as has Cooper Newman. And the reason why I sent a video guy out there is to not only so we can have some highlights to show on this show in advance for the Greenville game, but we really hadn't seen them much since week 1.
Right.
They've just been absolutely dominating everybody, and that's why I love this game. Midpoint of the season, you get one of the state powers out of 4A. You're trying to gear up for this final stretch of the regular season, kind of get into that playoff mode, postseason mode. And so whatever happens in this game, I think both teams are going to benefit from it. But I love this matchup. You got 2 of the better coaches in the area going at it. Todd Loveday out of Sevier County, Eddie Spradlin from Greenville. You got star power, Zayden Anderson, the Tennessee commit from Greenville. Last week, 3 catches, 180 yards. That's pretty good.
That's not bad.
3 catches, 180 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's good for Zayden Anderson. And so you'll get to see him out there on the edge. And Caden Ball does it differently than Cooper Newman. Cooper Newman's your pro-style kind of pocket passer for Sevier County. Caden Ball can do it both ways, on the run, through the air. And so it's going to be a kind of a contrast of quarterback styles. But you're going to get to see future college football players, 2 classy programs going at it. I can't wait for Thursday night.
You'll really see what those teams are made of during this matchup, too. And when we look to maybe another matchup, we could go to West and Halls. And honestly, like, West has some really good talent on their team. Halls has looked so good this season, too. When you're looking at this matchup, what are you hoping to see?
I want to see both teams moving forward. They both got their first wins last week.
Yeah.
Now, West went up to Campbell County. That was expected. Halls was a little bit tougher earned game against a William Blount team, and they had to make plays late in that 4th quarter to do that. Halls very much wants to get their season back in form, a season that we talked about so much in the early weeks that held so much promise, but they're sitting here in week 6 with 1 win. Now, everything's still in front of them. Same thing for West. But West is going to have to manufacture big plays in the pass game somehow, and that's going to be hard because Halls' best players are Brody Rogers and Jarrell Chandler, who are back there on the back end of the secondary, and they're going to be coming up to help in run stop defense, I'm sure, at times, but really hard to get pass plays off against those guys.
Yeah, another matchup we can look at is Oak Ridge and Bradley Central. Oak Ridge is kind of maybe flying a little under the radar, and I don't think they should be at this point.
No, absolutely not. They're kind of right there midway up the state rankings in Class 6A. And if you get a win over a team like Bradley Central, then maybe those voters out there in mid-state or in West Tennessee go, okay, you know, maybe we move Oak Ridge up just a little bit or talk about them more in the contender conversation. We know all their top players. We know the head coach. We know everything that is the fabric of that Oak Ridge team, and there's not many weaknesses. I mean, they're strong in the special teams, offense, defense, what have you. Now, that Week 11 game against Maryville is going to be epic.
Yes,
but right now, they need to make sure they're checking off wins so that they can get themselves in that position to possibly even win a 1 seed.
Yeah, the other one is Carter and Heritage. I was looking back to last week, too, and it looks like it was Joseph Armetta. He had 38 rush yards, a touchdown.
Yeah.
Like, that's not bad.
No, yeah,
He had 2 catches, 170 yards.
Yeah, he's one of the many stars on that team. I love this region, Region 2 4A. It seems like every week we have a massive game coming out of that region, and I love it. And this is just another one. And Heritage wants in the playoffs. Carter wants in the playoffs. We talked about how every one of these games matter. That's what we should be feeling. Last year, we were in the midpoint, like, where are all the good games? It's either in week 1 or week 11. Now we're getting it, and I love it, and it has meaning each and every week. So give me this schedule over last year's any day.
I know, like, sometimes, maybe not specifically with this matchup, but I noticed, like, the reclassifications has done a good job with, like, some nice matchups.
I like it. It's been good so far.
I can't complain at this point. Another one that should be good is Rockwood and Oliver Springs. Rockwood has a couple of nice players, especially in their rush attempts.
Yeah, for sure. And last week, I think Darby ran for over 200 yards in that win over Harriman. And
4 touchdowns.
Rockwood is a team that was really young a year ago. They came back this year thinking we have a chance to do something special, and they have to beat an Oliver Springs to get in position to do that, to challenge a Coalfield for supremacy out of that region. So this is a critical game for Rockwood to kind of see where they stack up against some of the best in that area.
Yeah, and coming up in just a second, we'll hear from HVA's head coach and Tyler Wynn talking about the last one they just got over Bearden and a little bit of his story. Another matchup to look at is Central and Powell. Sneaky good matchup?
Very good matchup.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's
not sneaky.
Yeah, it's not sneaky. It's big time. You know, we've grown accustomed over the last 5 to 6 years of it being West versus Powell every year, seemingly for region supremacy. Well, now Central has put itself at this point in the season in position to challenge Powell for that. Central has played extremely good football so far through the first 5 weeks, and then this is going to be another litmus test for that team. They've already beat West, and that put them kind of on everybody's radar. A win over Powell will do wonders for Central. Powell's not going to make it easy. They're expected to be getting a big-time defensive star back any day now, and that's going to make life more difficult for Central if he happens to come back this week. So we'll keep an eye on that, but this is going to be one of the best games of Week 6.
Well, I cannot wait. All right, coming up, we'll have the interview with Tyler Wynn with HVA. Stay tuned for that interview, and we'll be right back with our game picks following that.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.
Welcome back to the Walk-Thru, presented by Triple F. Jesse Smithey, joined by Tyler Wynn, head football coach at Hardin Valley Academy. And Tyler, 3-2 right here at the midpoint of the season. Some big strides being made at Hardin Valley. But first off, let's go back to when you took that job. What kind of piqued your interest in Hardin Valley Academy?
I like a challenge. That's the first thing. And my wife being from Knoxville, so she's chased me around Georgia for the past 15, 16 years. And when the job came open, I think the first person who reached out to me was my mother-in-law. And she's like, have you ever given any thought? And I was like, well, I didn't know anything even existed out this way. Because when we were in school, in 2005 through 2009, we used to come down and go to Providence Church. But there was nothing out this way.
Yeah.
And so I was like, we're in a good spot. We're happy where we're at. But the more I looked into it, and the more we kind of talked about it as a family, it looked to be a great move for us if it worked out. So, the opportunity to get in somewhere that has not had success, that's a huge thing for me. I love a challenge. I love stepping into a situation where nobody thinks you can do it. I got into coaching because of the impact coaches made on my life. To have an opportunity to do that at a place that has not had success, that was a big thing, to give those kids an opportunity to try to flip it and try to turn it around.
Yeah, I remember, and I know you've said this in the press as well, about there's people that told you couldn't win region games. And I remember after I published the story of you taking that job, there were people that were sending me texts like, oh, you can't win there. And I would say, look, I just talked with Tyler. I loved his mentality. I loved the energy about him. And that seemed like the right type of mentality and energy to put into that situation. What were the early challenges, though, you had to face at Hardin Valley?
I think it's like anywhere. You go in, you got to establish a new standard, a new way of doing things. Not that anything was being done the wrong way before, but it's just going to be different. So you got to come in and establish clear guidelines and clear standards of, here's the expectation. And I think, for us, we want to just turn those up a little bit. We expected a little bit more out of our guys in the weight room, a little bit more time spent, and a little bit more investment. So the kids really bought into it. Fortunately, we got a really good group of parents that it didn't take long for them to jump on board to some of the new things we were doing, asking the kids to get up and come up before school, not try to do it in a class period. But, those parents bought into what we were wanting to do. And, you're starting to see a little bit of the return on investment now. it's a long process. We still got a long way to go to get to where we want to be, but we're starting to see some return on that time and investment.
You're 3-2 now. You've got a region win, first region win for the program since 2020. When you get that ability to check off an item from your to-do list, how much does that kind of spur the guys on even more?
It snowballs. It snowballs. We set small goals, and then those small goals lead into the next goal and lead into the next goal. So for our guys, it's been huge. We come in and we put that big red X up, and our kids celebrate it. We celebrate it as a staff. My wife celebrates it. Our coaches' wives celebrate it. It's really big when you can start knocking things off that list. Big for those kids, because when you look at it, we only reveal the next goal after they knock the first one off. So for us going into this season, the whole thing up there said beat Carnes. That's game 1. We knocked them off, put a big X. Next one's win more than we won last year. So win game 2, we marked that one off. Now the next one says win a region game. So for us to knock that one off, now we got goal 4 up for our kids, and they're bought into what we're doing. We got a great group of seniors, great group of juniors that played a lot last year, and those kids understand that it wasn't going to be an overnight fix. So anytime we can start checking stuff off, that's big for them.
What are some of the guys, or who are some of the guys who have been kind of pleasant surprises for you, been leaders, whether it's productivity, whether it's weight room, locker room?
I got the first 2 guys that stick out in my mind are Dylan Ubanski and Sam Mann. Now Dylan, he played quarterback for us last year, and he didn't really look the part of a quarterback, looked like a defensive end, and he's playing defensive end for us this year after starting 9 games at quarterback the year before. So for him to step back and say, what's best for the team, and to jump into a new role and take it on, and really those guys kind of catapult our defense. Sam Mann, had a ton of production last year, really, really good football player. Plays linebacker. He stepped over and played some on offense for us as well. But for Sam and Dylan to have success as seniors has been huge, because those guys are fully invested. They're the first ones there, last one out. Really kind of set the standard for that senior class. I'd be remiss not to mention our juniors. We got 5 junior offensive linemen that start for us.
Wow.
And those kids have really, really bought into the grind and the brotherhood up front. Durgan Ragland, Nathan Artrip, Rylan Olmstead, Wells Harm, Kate Evans is a guy that we moved from tight end and made him a tackle. He's done a tremendous job. Logan Holbrook playing the tight end for us, and then being special on special teams. That's a great group of juniors that saw a ton of time last year. I mean, at one point we had, as a coaching staff, we had 17 sophomores on the field on a Friday night doing it in a region game in 6A. But those kids, they took their lumps, they took their bruises, and then they strapped it back up to play the next week and play the next year. So I'm super proud of those guys. And, we've got a group of leaders. It's not any 1 or 2 guys, but those 2 seniors definitely stand out for that class. And then that whole junior class, that's a tremendous class.
Tyler, last week I went out to Grace Christian, and of course they put up 70 points on Webb and ran the ball all over the place. And when I asked Justin Price about their 2 running backs, he said, I want to start with my 5 guys up front and how they were coming back from last year and had that experience. You're talking about your offensive line group being all juniors, and I know you're focused on this season, but do you ever kind of think about next year, like, man, we're going to have these 5 guys back, and this is what we can build towards?
I'll focus on next week.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm being honest. Like, I got to go week by week, and as soon as the season's over, we hang the whistle. Now we start getting ready for game 1 of the next year. But I would be remiss not to say I'd love to have 5 senior starters up front for us next year. That those guys have basically 20-something games under their belt, because a lot of them played as sophomores. So it's crossed my mind, and I've had 100 people mention it to me, but I try to hone in on that next
one. I understand. Some big challenges coming up the second half of the season for Hardin Valley. What do you want to see specifically out of this football team the rest of the season?
Resiliency, investment, selflessness, and effort. It always goes back to our core values. Every Sunday we sit in, we come back. I don't grade our kids. We don't say, hey, you got a 68. You're as our guard. So next guard's probably going to be jumping in and getting time. No, we look at it as a unit, and we say, were we resilient? Were we invested? Were we selfless? Did we give great effort? And we've got different things that we check off in each one of those areas, and that's kind of the barometer, the thermometer, I guess, whatever you want to call it, how we judge where we are as a football team. If our kids are resilient, if they're invested, if they're selfless, they give great effort, the scoreboard will take care of itself over time. So that's where we try to keep our focus on, and not get our kids looking in 100 different directions. Let's focus on these things. Can we check that off? Can we check this one off? We give them some pretty clear things that, when we watch the tape, do we have 11 hats in the film at all times? If we do, then that means we got 11 guys that are invested. They're resilient. They're fighting to get there. They're showing the effort that we need. What was our attendance like in film? How much film study do we have? How many guys do we have showing up for weights before school? That's your investment piece. We're checking that off. Your effort piece. We got guys chasing the football, whether we're on offense or defense. Ball's getting out of screen. Is everybody chasing that ball to try to help make the play? So we give them some pretty clear things, and those are the things we evaluate every week. Now, we're never perfect.
Yeah.
We're never going to be perfect. But if we can knock off most of them, we're going to be all right in most games.
You got me fired up, man. I'm ready to play. I'm ready to play for you.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, Tyler, man, appreciate you coming by the show. Best of luck to you guys the rest of the way. Congratulations on the season so far, and looking to see the next steps of this program.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, don't you guys go anywhere. We're going to throw it to break. Catch out these clips of Harriman and Rockwood, the state's longest running rivalry. The pretty special atmosphere there last week. Check that out.
People come in to see Rockwood Harriman, former players are back here. We've got a class of 85 having a reunion here just because they know it's this game. Yes, it's the oldest continuous rivalry in the state of Tennessee, 107 years. This is 107.
Rockwood Harriman small town football. Started in 1921, when we had our first team. The newspaper said a game couldn't be arranged in 23, and we played every year since 1924 on. It's just different, it's to me, it's really what football's about. The whole city of Rockwood's behind Rockwood, the whole city of Harriman's behind Harriman.
You see people that, they're congratulating you the next day and you're not sure who they are, but they were there Friday night.
They do meet at Hardee's in the morning. Tomorrow morning they'll be there to discuss all the problems with Rockwood football and politics. That's where you need to be tomorrow morning. It's just home for me, and I've had chances to go to other schools, but I haven't left. My wife's from here. My son went to school here, and I just don't think there's a better place.
Once again, we will remind all Rockwood Tigers on three!
The Film Room is presented by Smart Bank. Play smart, bank smart. Smart Bank. For more information, visit smartbank.com.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.
What's going on, guys? It's Amari Rogers out here at Triple F. We're starting the wide receiver training. I'm super excited to get this going. Come out here and get some great work in with me. I promise you won't regret it. Let's do it.
Oh gosh, I like listening back to that interview. He has such great energy, and it really now starts to make sense why he's been able to return HBA to its winning ways.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I told him during that interview, there were so many people that say, why would you come from Georgia to take this job? And I love his passion and his energy. And when you're trying to rebuild a program, that's the exact mentality you need to put in place. Now, it doesn't always work, but right now it's working, and you're seeing signs of life out of that HVA program. 3-2, and still some big games to come.
Yeah.
Got Maryville this week, but I wanted to have him out and give a chance for East Tennessee to get to know Tyler Wynn a little bit better, and I don't know, fired me up. Love hearing the voice, and he's got that Patrick Mahomes kind of gravel to it, so I love it.
Yeah, and somebody else here inside Triple F that might want to fire some people up is maybe the newest coach that Triple F has.
Yeah, Amari Rogers played at Catholic High School, was a Mr. Football winner there, a state champion there, went to Clemson, won a national championship there, got drafted in the NFL by the Packers, played there, and also played in I think it's the USFL or UFL with the Birmingham Stallions, won a championship there. So there seems to be a pattern right there. I mean, that guy wins, and now he's out here training wide receivers in the area. So if you're a parent, if you're a wide receiver, come out here, learn from Amari Rogers. Great character, knows how to work, and I've watched him train for the NFL draft. It was unbelievable, and how much passion and drive he puts in what he does, and I can't wait for him to instill that in the players in this area. I'd be running out here to sign up to learn from Amari Rogers. I mean, that guy, his dad's T. Martin, coach in the NFL, former Tennessee quarterback, so he has a wealth of knowledge that he's ready to share. So if you're out there, you got a wide receiver or somebody's getting into football, playing that position, come out here to Triple FC Amari Rogers.
It's the perfect location.
ASAP,
so, like, absolutely. When we turn our attention back to week 6 for the high school football season, there's a couple of key games, and I really want to get your perspective on maybe what it'll take for certain matchups like the Greenville-Sevier County series for maybe Sevier County to go out there and get a win. Is it still maybe in favor of Greenville? Where do you see this going?
So Sevier County's been my #1 team all season long, and I'm going to have to roll with them in this pick. I mean, I've put them up ahead of Alcoa, and there's people that have said I'm crazy for that, and I get it. But I like Sevier County's roster. They've been my #1 all along, so I'm going to pick them to win this football game. Now, if Greenville comes into that game and they're able to run the football against Sevier County, then that certainly opens up so much opportunity for Caden Ball to not only get things done on the ground, but throw the football to Zayden Anderson, who we talked about. So this is that's something to kind of watch in the chess match of that game.
Is it close?
Oh, I think it could be. Again, I'm not setting spread, but I like Sevier County to win this football game, maybe by 7 to 10 points, somewhere there. So I think it's going to be a very competitive game. You're talking about two of the more powerful programs in the state. It should be a close game.
Yeah. The next game is Farragut at Bearden. They're 42-24 all time, but Bearden's won the last two. This is a series where they both really need a victory in this type of matchup. What are you looking for to show signs of like positive life moving forward?
Yeah, so for Bearden, they had a chance to win last week against Hardin Valley and weren't able to do that, and you kind of wonder like what they're going to be able to accomplish the rest of the way. I think for Brad Taylor, the head football coach, he's building long term. It's not go in there and expect playoff appearance year one. He still needs to see some of these young guys that in the second half of the season, if they're freshmen, he wants to see them performing like sophomore and sophomore junior. So I think for Bearden, that's what he wants to see out of this game. For Farragut, 2 weeks ago, we talked about they cannot start 0-5 again like they did a year ago. here they are. So it's try to summon some of the same magic that worked last year into this second half of the season.
Yeah, maybe find what they did well against Maryville and continue to maybe build on
Right, so I'm going to pick Farragut to win this football game, but it should be a fun one.
Yeah, it always is. It always is. CAK and Webb, obviously, proximity very close, rivalry very deep.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to in this matchup?
Man, I want to see if Webb still has it.
Yeah.
They're 0-5 now. Nobody saw that coming with the star power that they have. So they have anything left in the tank? Do they still have a fight to them about this season after losing that game last week, giving up 70 points? CAK wants it. I mean, you've seen them fight this season. So I'm going to pick Webb to win this football game.
Okay.
But CAK absolutely has some ability to make this game competitive. Who knows, possibly even win it. But I'm giving Webb kind of one more shot here. One more shot. Shavar Young has been playing his heart out.
Oh, out of his mind.
I mean, what he did last week offensively, in addition to his defensive duties, is unbelievable. I mean, that guy's giving the stereotypical 110%.
Yeah.
The other guys out there around him, I think, will elevate their game. He's leading by example.
Yeah, because I know they've got beat by 70-40, but 40 points should win you games. So they've got some offense. They just seems like they have to figure it out on defense.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see if they make adjustments.
We'll see. Carter and Heritage. What should we look forward to?
Oh man, this is the tough one. This one's the coin flip game, and Coach O out there at Heritage, he's going to be fiery. Todd Helton out at Carter is going to be fiery. You got kind of mirroring head coaches in the terms of positivity and mental capacity that they throw at their team. For Carter, I want to see them bounce back in the pass game. I want to see Brody Sparks have a really nice game, a clean game. And for Heritage, running the football is going to be paramount, and stopping the run for them is going to be paramount. Yeah. Coach O has talked about his defensive line and how good they are at stopping the run, and Anderson County kind of got after him a little bit with that. And we'll see if Heritage shores up some few things on the defensive line. So I'm struggling with this, and I will take Heritage. It's at Heritage, right?
Yes, it is. It's Carter at Heritage.
I will take Heritage and the home field advantage.
Fans need to help
Whenever
out.
I'm in limbo, I'll go with the home field advantage.
That's always the safe bet. To our not so sneaky matchup, our marquee matchup, Central and Powell.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. What's gonna happen?
I'm going to take Powell to win the football game. I just think Ethan Hill is due back anytime for this Powell defense, and he is a 6 foot, 235-pound linebacker defensive end that when he's out there, Powell's defense is extremely special. Now, Central has been special as well offensively, and some of the stars on their offense are also double as some of their stars on defense, Tord McAfee, Javison Badgett. So this is a team where Powell is highly ranked. In my rankings, they're higher ranked than Central, so I have to roll with Powell in this game, but I'm looking forward to what Central can do in this football game.
Oh, it should be a good one.
Should be a fun one.
It should be a fun one. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll see you all during the high school football week, Thursday, Friday, and we'll be back here next week for week 7. Talk to you guys then.
This is the Walk-Thru, powered by F Elite Sports Training. Train like a pro. Your all-access pass to the biggest games, hottest stories, and everything high school football in East Tennessee. From the Friday night lights to the chase for championships, we bring you the stars, the headlines, and every heart-pounding moment. So strap on that chin strap and get ready. Jesse, Paige, and the 5-Star Preps team are here with the most complete high school football coverage in the state. This is the Walk-Thru.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.